Hello and welcome to the first of a few videos on organisation. This is one of my absolute favourite topics. I think good organisation is so crucial in helping with our daily lives, but for you as students, you are starting to develop these skills that you can eventually transfer to the workplace. The need to be organised never ceases, and so the sooner you can start to test some strategies, the sooner you can master this skill, and it will make your life so much easier. For any student that's ever had me in the class, they know I like to refer to a persona called Past Miss Coupland. Now, Past Miss Coupland is amazing. She's on top of everything. So it means that present Miss Coupland doesn't have to fret about something. Oh my gosh, has that task been done? It's okay. Past Miss Coupland did it. She's amazing. The reason Past Miss Coupland is so helpful is because she's organised. In today's video, I want to talk about the to-do list. Now, this is a holy and important document. Anyone who knows me has seen me walk around school with a hardcover book. That's my to-do list. To-do lists are super important in your organisation as it gives you a clear direction and a clear list of tasks that you need to do. However, to make a to-do list effective, you need to do the following things. Firstly, you need to think about time and you need to think about task. The thing that trips us up the most when completing to-do lists is that we either make the task too big and the time too little, or we make the task too general and we don't give ourselves a time frame. While some of you feel really anxious about deadlines are actually a really wonderful thing. How many of you have worked furiously the night before an assessment task? It's not a healthy approach, but if you set yourself short and manageable deadlines on your to-do list, it's going to make your life so much easier. The way I like to do my to-do list is I break it up week to week. Now, I'm going to share some really magical advice with you. I actually don't refer to this book as my to-do list, ever, because it'll never get done. There will always be jobs that I need to do. I'm never going to have a blank list. So, as far as some positive phrasing goes, I call this my on-the-go list. I think it's really wonderful to understand that your to-do list will never really and truly be done, and to know that tasks are always going to come your way, and that's just part of life. When I'm writing a task for the week, I have to be incredibly specific because it makes the task more manageable to approach. If I just say, do English marking, that doesn't mean anything. What marking? What year group? What task? How many? Sometimes when I'm marking, I have up to 100 papers that I need to read. Now, you have to stop and think, is that a realistic task that could be completed in one attempt? No. You know what is? Mark 10, year 10 responses. That's a realistic task. So when we're thinking about task and time, you need to plan a task that is doable in a realistic amount of time that you have. So when you're planning your homework, for example, don't just say, do maths. That doesn't mean anything. And it's so much harder when you're looking at your to-do list, it says, do maths. That's an unattainable, a vague task that you need to complete. Instead, if you have complete maths exercises 1 through to 8, that is a manageable task where you can actually conceive, do I have enough time to complete that? Some tasks are really short and will only take 5 minutes. It might be respond to email in relation to blank. It's up to you, but for me, it's super important to write absolutely everything down. Lastly, to embrace the philosophy of the on-the-go list, it's okay if tasks don't get done. Some tasks don't have a deadline. I honestly have had tasks in this book that have lasted for a term and a half. So there's no point getting down on yourself when things don't get done. Maybe you need to stop for a second, go back, and think about your to-do list strategy. Was the task realistic? Was the timing realistic? What I do at the end of every week is I sit down and I look at the tasks that I haven't completed and then I put them into the next week. Sometimes I might even put a post-it note to prioritize those tasks, just so I know that they're at the front of my head. The other thing I like to do is not to overload my weekly on-the-go lists with tasks that I don't need to do now. Some tasks might appear on my radar, but I don't need to look at them until 3 weeks in advance, 5 weeks in advance. So I will put it in that particular week where it needs to be done there. There's no point looking at a giant list of tasks that don't have to be done. Again, it's about prioritizing the task and the time. So when you're planning and mapping out your on-the-go lists, think about the task and the time. Think about, does this task need to be done now? Or can I start a small section of this task and come back to it? So let's just say you have an English essay you need to write. Perhaps the first step in doing that task is think about the question, dot point potential responses. That's a doable task. For some of you that might take 20 minutes, for some of you that might take an hour. Again, you need to think about you, task and time. If you have any questions about the on-the-go list, feel free to post them below. I recommend getting, if you're going to do a book, a hardcover, because I travel a lot and this comes everywhere. So getting a text that's quite durable is really, really helpful. Look forward to future videos on organisation, and thank you for tuning in.